Okay, how many times have you watched a horror movie and just like rolled your eyes at the villain? You know what I mean? Like it's the same old masked killer, the same old creepy ghost. But get ready, because we're going deep on the Wrong Turn movies. We're going to meet Maynard Odets, and he is a mastermind who flips that whole horror villain thing on its head.
What's so fascinating about Maynard is he's really a different kind of horror. You got these totally terrifying mutated cannibals running around, and then boom, you meet Maynard. Polished, sophisticated businessman, owns the Hillside Inn, super charming, at least it seems.
Right. You see this clean-cut, well-dressed guy in Wrong Turn 6, Last Resort, and you almost think, okay, this guy's all right. Then bam, he hits you with a line like, "Welcome to the Hillside Inn, I hope you enjoy your stay." It's so unsettling knowing what's about to happen.
It really makes you think, like, what clues are we missing right from the start?
Exactly.
Yeah, that contrast, how he looks versus who he really is, that's key to Maynard. He's using the Hillside Inn as a trap, luring people in with this whole relaxing getaway thing.
It's like classic horror movie, right? You think you're safe, but Maynard, he's planned it all out so you're anything but.
Precisely. And he's not just, like, relying on the setting. He's actively manipulating everyone. There's this one scene he's talking to a guest, all smiles, super charming. But you realize he's playing them like a fiddle.
Oh, yeah.
The audience is right there with the guest, completely fooled.
Totally. Makes you question your own judgment.
For sure. And here's where it gets really crazy. Wrong Turn 6 has this big reveal, totally flips the script. We think it's the cannibals who are the main threat, but then, boom, it hits you. They're just pawns in Maynard's game.
Seriously, that reveal is mind-blowing. You go from creepy innkeeper to mastermind in like 2 seconds flat.
Makes you wonder how a businessman like Maynard becomes a horror icon, doesn't it?
Doesn't it, though? It's not like he's got superpowers or anything.
Well, it's not brute force with Maynard. It's his brain. He's a strategist, a manipulator, uses his intelligence to get what he wants. And that takes us to the next level.
Yeah.
What's his motivation? What would drive a guy like Maynard to do such awful things?
That's the big question, right? What makes him tick?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you start to see how deep his plans go, like how he's always a few steps ahead of everyone.
Exactly. And that's really what sets Maynard apart from, like, your typical horror movie villain, you know?
Yeah.
Think about Freddy Krueger. He's all about revenge.
Right.
Driven by it. Totally emotional.
Yeah.
And then you've got Hannibal Lecter. He's almost, like, fascinated by human nature. It's kind of artistic, but also, like, totally messed up.
Yeah.
They're both terrifying, obviously.
Oh, for sure.
But there's a kind of chaos to him, right? Almost like a messed up sense of justice.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
But Maynard is ice cold, calculated. He wants power, plain and simple.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need, like, supernatural powers to get it.
Yep.
He's using something way more twisted. His family.
Okay, yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. We find out that Maynard's actually related to the cannibals, like a distant relative or something, and he inherited the Hillside Inn.
It's like he's taken this group of brutal killers, the ones from the earlier movies, and he's turned them into this
Machine.
a machine.
Yeah.
A well-oiled machine of terror.
Like he's their coach or something.
Yeah, they're strategists.
Giving them direction.
Exactly, turning random violence into something way scarier, organized, planned out. Think about what that means for the victims, right?
I mean, that's terrifying.
It's a whole other level.
Right. It's not just like mindless violence. It's planned.
Absolutely.
There's someone thinking things out, setting a trap.
Adds this whole psychological thing to it.
Doesn't it, though? It's way more intense than just a slasher flick.
For sure. And Maynard's impact goes way beyond Wrong Turn 6. Even in Wrong Turn 7, Bloodlines, Maynard's not in it.
Right.
But the family's still organized, strategic. That's Maynard's legacy.
So even when he's gone, his influence is still there.
Exactly.
Wow.
He's created this whole legacy of fear, you know? He took a franchise that was all about gore, and he made it, well, sophisticated in a way.
I get you. Like, it gets under your skin, makes you think.
Makes you think.
Right. Like, if a guy like Maynard, someone who seems so normal, can do all this, what does that say about evil in general?
It's chilling. Right. But that's why Maynard is such a great villain. He makes us face this uncomfortable truth. That the monsters we're afraid of, they might not look like monsters.
Right.
They might look and act just like us.
Whoa.
Hiding in plain sight.
And that brings us back to the Hillside Inn. It's not just a place, it's a symbol.
Yeah, a symbol of Maynard's deception. You think it's safe, but it's not.
It's like the perfect way to represent him.
Charming on the outside, hiding something horrible underneath.
Exactly.
It really makes you think. How many other hillside inns are out there?
Oh, that's a good question.
How many normal-seeming places or people are hiding dark secrets?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about his intelligence, how he manipulates people, his thirst for power. But what about his connection to the cannibals? It's more than just a businessman using a bunch of killers, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's deeper than that. They're connected by blood.
Blood, yeah.
It makes you wonder, does Maynard, admire their brutality?
Oh, interesting.
Is there a part of him that sees himself in them?
Like, he has these dark urges, but he hides them behind his fancy suits and business deals.
Right.
But by controlling the cannibals, he's kind of, like, living out his own dark side.
That's a really great point.
Right.
It's like he's living his darkest fantasies through them.
Yeah.
And that makes him even more complex, right?
Yeah.
He's drawn to their darkness even while he's trying to control it.
It's like he's walking a tightrope, you know? On one side, he's a successful businessman, civilized.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side, he's got this savage side, this darkness. And that's where the real horror is, I think.
Yeah, he becomes like a symbol of the darkness we all have inside. That potential for evil, even in people who seem totally normal.
Okay, so if we take this whole deep dive even further, what's the most important question we need to answer about Maynard? For me, it's like, how did he get to this point? What happened in his life that turned him into, this mastermind of horror?
That's the big mystery, right?
Totally.
The Wrong Turn movies, they give us these little hints about Maynard's past.
Yeah, like you get the sense there's some dark stuff there.
Exactly, a messed up family history.
Right.
But they don't really tell us how he became who he is.
So, like, we have to figure it out ourselves.
We got to fill in the blanks, yeah.
Imagine what could have happened to him,
Right, and I think that's part of why Maynard is so interesting.
Hmm.
He's like this blank canvas, and we can put all our fears about evil onto him.
That makes me think of that whole nature versus nurture debate.
Oh, totally.
Like, was he always going to be bad because of his family? Or was there something that happened, something that, like, pushed him over the edge?
And if there was that one moment, what was it? Was it gradual, like he slowly got worse and worse? Or was it something sudden that changed him completely?
I mean, that's what stays with you after the movie's over, right? Those questions.
It makes you think about yourself, too,
Yeah, yeah.
If someone like Maynard, someone who seems to have it all, money, brains, power, if he can become evil, does that mean anyone can?
It's a scary thought.
It is. But it shows how powerful these Wrong Turn movies are,
Right.
especially the ones with Maynard.
Right.
They make us face these really uncomfortable truths about ourselves, about what people are capable of.
They make you question everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like what's good, what's evil, and how close are they really?
We've talked a lot about how smart Maynard is, how he manipulates people, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that gets me is how he uses being normal as a weapon.
Oh, that's a great point.
It's like he's using our expectations against us.
Right. We think we know what evil looks like, how it acts.
Yeah, like we expect the monster to be obvious.
Exactly. But Maynard changes all that.
He's like the ultimate wolf in sheep's clothing.
Totally. And that makes him even scarier because it feels real.
Right. Like it can happen to anyone.
Exactly. He could be your neighbor, the guy who makes your coffee, anyone.
That's what makes him so unsettling.
And that's why he's such a classic horror villain. He reminds us that the real monsters, the ones we should be afraid of, they might be right there in front of us the whole time.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Maynard Odets, I want to leave you with this. What if Maynard's story isn't just about one man's darkness? What if it's about the potential for evil in all of us?
It's a chilling thought. Maynard's story reminds us to be careful, to not take things for granted, and to remember that evil doesn't always look how we expect it to.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the dark side of the Wrong Turn movies. We'll be back soon with another look at the world's most fascinating villains. Until then, stay curious and stay safe out there.